Hey everybody, hope you all are doing well and welcome back to Michael's Matters. Now, of course, as per usual, I am Michael, and today, after the New Year's, Happy New Year's everybody, by the way, we are doing our first January 2023 video and Social Security update, where we talk about a recent paper that just came out in November that suggests that 90% of older Americans would actually benefit from waiting until the age of 70 years old to claim their Social Security benefits, which is counter to a lot of the videos that we have already seen, especially on YouTube, over these last couple of years. Additionally, we're going to talk about a report from the Senior Citizens League, the SCL, as I like to call it, about how in 2022, now that is last year, because of inflation, Social Security benefits fell short by 46% of what was actually necessary to pay for the daily cost of living for older Americans, for retirees, and people on Social Security benefits. So that includes Social Security Retirement, Social Security Disability SSDI, Supplemental Security Income SSI, as well as Railroad Retirement and VA benefits. Now, this is Michael's Matters, and before we get to it, if you like these videos, if you find them interesting, if you find them helpful, hey, if you find them useful, please don't forget to like and subscribe. And that way you can get updates when our newest and most informative videos become available. All right, now, let's get down to the video. So first today, I want to talk about a paper that was published in the NBER, or National Bureau of Economic Research, entitled, quote, "How much lifetime Social Security benefits are Americans leaving on the table?" End quote. And it's saying that essentially the wave of Americans retiring early could be leaving hundreds, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars of lifetime benefits from their Social Security on the table, and ultimately putting themselves in a bad economic position later on in their golden years. Which is, again, kind of counter to a lot of the videos that we've seen where they say, hey, retire at 62, you retire at 62, should I retire early? All those kind of videos that are just prevalent everywhere. These videos have literally blown up over the last couple of years during the pandemic, where we have actually seen record numbers of older Americans retiring and doing the Great Resignation thing, when American savings rates went up dramatically because of government spending, stock market jumps, and all this has put a huge squeeze on the labor market overall, where we see the end results. Now, I'll leave a link down below if you want to take a look at the paper, but the crux of the reason why the writers, David Altig, Lawrence Kotlikik, and Victor Yifan Yi, found that virtually all U.S. workers aged 45 to 62 would actually benefit by waiting till age 65 to collect their Social Security benefits, but moreover, that 90% of them would benefit from waiting until age 70, yet only 10.2% do. Now, the reasons Americans could benefit is because, according to this paper, American retirees, well, they're living longer, up to the point where the benefits of retiring early, like getting more free time and more money up front, begin to wane if you live past a certain point, which they are doing, especially when compared with folks who retire later on at 70. Because there is the break-even point, which is the point where your total lifetime benefits of Social Security meet, depending on where you retire, whether it's at 62 or 65 or 67, which is the full retirement age, depending on when you were born, or at the latest point at 70, they all meet at a certain point. Now, once you hit this point, your overall benefits, well, they begin to lose ground against those who retired later. So the people who retired at 62, they start to make less money as the trajectory is less steep than those folks who retire at 70. Essentially, what happens is you begin outliving your Social Security benefits that you are receiving because the cost of living and everything else goes up, but you're still on that lower trajectory. So let's talk a little bit more specifics about this. First, for folks who are considering retiring, keep in mind that when you retire, the age you retire will change your benefits. Now, regardless of how many actual years you worked, if you retire earlier than later, you will get lower Social Security benefits. Now, sure, there are legitimate reasons why somebody would want to retire early. Health reasons, family reasons. Hey, you know what? You could even win that $785 million Mega Millions jackpot that's going to be coming out here in the next couple days. I know I got my tickets or some other necessity. But in case you are like most retired Americans who get a majority or even a super majority of their monthly income from Social Security retirement, if you retire early, it will change the lifetime trajectory of your Social Security benefits. Very, very briefly, if you retire at 62 years old, you will start with Social Security benefits that are approximately 30% less than if you waited until your full retirement age of 65 years old or 67 years old, depending on when you were born. That's called the FRA. But if you wait until 70 years old, so you wait past that point, you will get a bonus of about 32% more dollars for waiting and presumably paying into the system longer while you are working and ultimately not taking out benefits as long as you could. But at some point, the benefits of those who take their retirement early at 62 or late at 70, they intersect. It's the old train A from Boston and train B from San Francisco problem. Where are they going to meet? But for Social Security benefits, those who retire earlier, they have a head start. Sure, they get some more years of money coming in, but they get less money, essentially being a train that moves slower but starts first. On the other hand, there are those train Bs, those folks who retire at 70, who start later, but they get more money over a shorter period of time. So they are moving faster. And ultimately what it means is they end up meeting around the age of 80 and a half, just east of Omaha. Pop secret. Now, but really, this is what the chart looks like, so take a look at it, and you can see that that's what it shows. So in a weird way, you win this economic problem if you retire at 62, take Social Security, and stop taking Social Security at 80.5 years old, because you will have received more lifetime savings than those people who retire at 70. So in that case, you're a winner. Of course, you're not taking any more Social Security benefits. Now, even if we look at the current Social Security numbers for how long people are going to live, without the debate about how accurate they are, since they are from 2019, pre-COVID, and they haven't been updated recently, and we keep living longer because medicine and technology, et cetera, you can see that if you are 61 years old right now and a male, you are likely to live to 82.77 years old. If you're a woman, it's up to 84.96 years old, so basically 85 years. Also keep in mind that if you are a male, 48,404 out of every 100,000 American males will be alive at 81 years old. So you have about a 48% chance of making it. For women, that is showing at 62,306 women per 100,000 Americans women. So that would be 62% chance of getting to 81 years old. So the odds for men is slightly less than half, and for women it's slightly, well, actually a decent more than half, that you will get to that point that if you retire at 62, you will start receiving less overall lifetime benefits than a person who retires at 70 and basically start losing ground against the actual cost of everything, and also those folks who retired at 70. And I just thought, you know what, that is something really important to bear in mind, and I found interesting as you watch all these kind of hype videos about why it's best to retire at 62. Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't. I'm just saying everyone's individual. That's their own choice, but just something to keep in mind. Now, as a sort of accompaniment to this, looking back at the year that was 2022, you can see signs of what could happen for retirees in New Year's that have yet to come. Where according to analysis by the Senior Citizens League, Social Security benefits in 2022, well, they fell short of actually covering the costs that seniors and older Americans face on a daily basis by 46%. Which means that seniors and older Americans and retirees who rely mostly or solely on Social Security benefits are being shortchanged when it comes to paying their bills. The rationale for the Senior Citizens League, or the SCL, is that the 2022 average monthly Social Security benefit went from $1,564 in 2021 to $1,656.30 in 2022, which comes out to $92.30 increase monthly. This was an average, meaning that most people who are getting Social Security benefits actually probably got less, and probably a handful, a much smaller number of people got way more, but it averages out to that. But that was due to a 5.9% increase in the cost of living adjustment, or COLA. But according to the final end-of-year review of the cost of inflation in the United States, it means that the average shortage per month for 2022 for Social Security benefits comes out to be $42.35, or 46% of what someone would actually need to keep up with inflation. Some months like June 2022, when inflation was at 9.8%, Social Security benefits fell short by $61. But in November, after the big spike inflation had passed, where inflation was just at 7.1%, benefits only fell short by $19. But still, overall, the average came out to $42.35 a month. That became short, and yearly that comes out to $508.20. And moreover, every month, regardless of what the inflation rate was, Social Security benefits did not keep up with it. But luckily for 2023, with inflation at its current lower rate in the low 7% area, and the COLA at 6.8%, that's going to kick in, well, right now, this month, it will help those retirees gain back a little bit of that loss that they had gotten over the last year, unless, of course, there are more spikes in inflation. So overall, looking at this paper talking about why, at least in the opinions of these researchers, that the overarching number of Americans, over 90% in fact, would benefit immensely from waiting to retire at 70, it seems to make sense, at least on paper. But there's also the real reality that at the moment, a huge number of people threw in the towel and they retired before they would have otherwise because of the pandemic and over the last couple of years, huge amounts of government spending, etc., and the stock market doing well. Furthermore, it doesn't appear that any of those folks are going to be going back to work. So I don't know. I'd love to hear what you all think about this. For me, it still seems that I would probably wait as long as possible to retire because one, I enjoy working and I'm able to. Two is because the extra benefit of getting a higher Social Security benefit. And three, you can still make money from work, which, allows you to add a little bit of added assurance to later on in your life when maybe you're not able to work, that you won't outlive whatever savings or Social Security support that, I am or you are getting by that time. If you do hit your 80s, or if you have that 1 in 100,000 chance of Americans who make it to 112 years old. Fingers crossed. All right, so that's it for today, and I hope you enjoyed this video. And if you did, if you found it interesting, if you found it helpful, hey, you know what? If you found it useful, please don't forget to like and subscribe. And that way you can get updates when my newest and most informative videos become available. So for Michael's Matters, I'm Michael, hoping that you take care of yourself, take care of others, and have a happy, healthy